Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video, I'd like to discuss the Foreign Secretary Liz Truss's most recent statement on her intentions with regards to talks over the practical implementation of the Northern Ireland Protocol. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So, it's a funny thing. I've said over the last few years, it's really hard to tell at times which apparent governmental cock-ups can be put down to malice and which can be put down to incompetence. Boris Johnson is clearly incompetent. That being said, he's still in power despite a complete failure to govern or to deliver on his promises. The only people even remotely pleased are the ERG, and even they expected the Northern Ireland Protocol to be scrapped by now, something that he is not delivering. But despite the buffoonery on show from Johnson, we are regularly reminded by those who have been close to him that he is single-minded and ruthless. We can see some evidence for this in his quest to remain in power. I've said before that one thing keeping him in place seems to be the lack of an obvious successor. Rishi Sunak looked to be the favourite, but his star has waned a little after announcing a budget that represents the largest tax burden on the country for generations. Now, to low-tax Tories, this is a huge faux pas. Did Sunak want to do this? No, not really. Johnson refused to allow him to pull back from the levelling up spending commitments, so the taxes had to go up. And this is a move that Johnson not only needs to try and retain his red wall support, or should I say regain because he's currently lost it, but also a move that badly damaged Sunak's reputation in the eyes of the wider party. So he basically wing-clipped one of his potential successors. Now, was it a coincidence that Johnson's move damaged Sunak or just serendipity? Don't know. But then there was Liz Truss. Now, she became the new darling of the party, and she's not been quiet about her leadership ambitions either. Unelected Brexit Minister David Frost resigns, and Boris Johnson gives the job of dealing with the protocol talks to Liz Truss. Not an odd move in itself, but the responsibility didn't have to go to the Foreign Office. It makes a certain amount of sense, but it could easily have gone to her old department, the Department for International Trade. But it went to Truss. She has now been given the poisoned chalice of managing the impossible. Johnson's plan, presumably, is to hang on long enough for the job to wreck Truss's reputation now as well. Keep nobbling the opposition and stay in power on that basis until all the scandals blow over. That will be his thinking. And Truss has yesterday embarked on an apparent walk down the plank. Like government ministers in general, she talked a load of rubbish, but there were two clear statements of policy that emerged from her. First, she said that she'll never sign up to anything which sees goods moving within our own country being subject to checks. Second, that she would use Article 16 if she didn't get her way including no checks on goods passing from Britain to Northern Ireland. So let's take that first statement first. Liz Truss says she won't sign up to anything that sees goods moving within our own country, i.e. the UK, being subject to checks. Except she already has. This is in the withdrawal agreement that she voted for and that her boss made a great show of signing in January 2020. And there's no way around that with discussions on the practical implementation of what is now an international treaty. Remember that the entire purpose of the withdrawal agreement was to allow for two things. First, that movement around the entire island of Ireland should remain seamless, and second, that the integrity of the customs and standards borders for both the EU and the UK should remain strong. Now, the UK government has unilaterally weakened our own customs and standards borders, but that's down to us really. But the EU are not interested in doing the same. But this poses a bit of a problem for Brexiteers because despite me asking where are the Brexit benefits all the time and being greeted with silence, there is one. And no, I don't mean for other countries, I mean in the UK. Northern Ireland is positively booming. Yes, the protocol is still causing issues for some, but by and large they are in a brilliant position. They can export freely to the entire EU, plus a few others. British businesses can't. They can also export freely to Britain. EU countries can't do that. And the trade barriers for EU businesses are increasing this year. But this is a problem for the Brexiteers. When there is one part of the UK that is doing well economically, much better than anywhere else, and it is the part of the UK which remained on the EU side of the Brexit Iron Curtain, it does somewhat undermine their arguments that Northern Ireland Protocol is unworkable. It actually makes it sound like a bloody good system, and maybe the rest of us would like in on it. Scotland definitely would, and the government there instantly demanded the same access when Boris Johnson was boasting in 2019 about what a brilliant benefit the Northern Ireland Protocol would be to the people of Northern Ireland. The SNP were saying, well, great, can we have it? It's the only thing he's ever said about Brexit that was true. And also the part of Brexit that he wants to incinerate. Only he can't, and neither can Liz Truss. Because when we come to that second statement that she will trigger Article 16, no, she won't. For one thing, she doesn't have the authority. Boris Johnson has made it clear that he's not going to authorise it, given the specific threats of retaliation from the EU, and maybe also wary of how even Republicans would have to shun him in America. But when it comes to US behaviour, I'm not convinced it's as major a factor in Johnson's thinking. He's clearly biding his time there until Biden is hamstrung by the midterms later this year, and then Trump makes his triumphant return in 2024. But the prospect of seeing the trade and cooperation agreement evaporate is a more pressing problem. Despite Johnson being one of the ones who said we would prosper without a deal, he knows it's nonsense. Because I'll add in my usual bit as well. Triggering Article 16 doesn't mean what the Brexiteers claim it does. It doesn't allow the UK government to unilaterally remove parts of the protocol that they don't like. Article 16 specifically states that the protocol must be left operating. It says it on more than one occasion. So what Liz Truss actually means, just as Johnson, Lewis and Frost before her, is that she wants to break an international treaty and pretend there is some legal provision for doing so. There isn't. So where does this leave Truss? Well, hitting a brick wall. She won't get what she wants because it's legally and politically impossible. Even if she could trigger Article 16, that would make the situation a whole lot worse. It would also punish Northern Ireland. They will not appreciate that, and there are elections coming up. But she can't trigger Article 16, so she will fail in her stated aim and her halo will slip. Her only option will be to do what Frost did and resign, citing weakness on the part of Boris Johnson. Go to the backbenchers and hope that he falls soon after. The problem with that is she will be implicated in his fall. Generally speaking, those who assassinate a Tory leader do not get to replace them. Boris Johnson is a relatively rare exception. Truss will not want to be seen as wielding the sword that brings Johnson down because disloyalty goes down very poorly in the party. But she may have no choice. Or it's possible that she's hoping that she can spend a month or two threatening the EU without actually doing anything, which is actually counterproductive anyway because it reduces trust, which is essential in forming any form of agreement, in the hopes that Johnson will fall very soon. But I don't think he's going to. I think they're keeping him on for a while yet. But she will presumably know that Conservative MPs will be thinking one way or the other. She'll know better than I do what they're thinking at the moment. But what she definitely isn't going to do is deliver the deal that she is claiming she wants. When she first took the job, she did actually give herself room to manoeuvre with a fudge. Now she's given herself an explicit aim that is unachievable and impossible to fudge. She's said no checks on goods going from Britain to Northern Ireland. You can't fudge that. So she must either climb down or resign in protest at not being allowed to start a trade war with our most important market, or stay in place, achieve nothing, and then lose popularity within her party, knackering her leadership ambitions. And you would think she's going to have to do one or the other in the next few months as well, because those Stormont elections are looming. Oh, and in the meantime, the DUP are still threatening to collapse the Assembly, but they've been doing that for about, 7 months now? But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. If you'd like to support the channel further, please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.